The crimson sun of Nexus 7 dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the barren landscape. 11-year-old Maya Reeves stood at the edge of the human settlement, her wild curls dancing in the alien wind. Her eyes, bright with curiosity, scanned the desolate plains that stretched endlessly before her. "Maya," her father's voice boomed from behind. "How many times do I have to tell you? Stay within the perimeter." Maya turned, a familiar mixture of defiance and guilt playing across her features. "But Dad, I was just looking. The Vesperi aren't even out this time of day." Commander Jack Rees, his weathered face etched with worry, placed a hand on his daughter's shoulder. "The Vesperi are unpredictable, sweetheart. We can't take any chances, not after what happened to your mother." The mention of her mother sent a pang through Maya's heart. It had been 2 years since the Vesperi attack that had claimed her life, along with dozens of other colonists. Since then, the remaining humans had fortified their position, living in constant fear of the alien tribe that seemed intent on driving them from the planet. As they walked back to the settlement, Maya's mind wandered to the stories she'd overheard, whispers of the Vesperi's desperation, of a once proud race driven to the brink of starvation. She couldn't help but wonder if there was more to their story than the adults let on. Later that night, as the colony slept, Maya lay awake in her bunk. The soft hum of the life support systems usually lulled her to sleep, but tonight her mind buzzed with questions. With a frustrated sigh, she slipped out of bed, pulled on her boots, and grabbed her father's spare comm device. Sneaking past the night watch was easier than she'd expected. Years of exploring every nook and cranny of the settlement had its advantages. Once outside, Maya activated her father's old holomap, its faint blue glow illuminating her path across the alien terrain. As she ventured further from the safety of the colony, the landscape changed. Twisted, crystalline formations jutted from the ground, their surfaces glinting in the starlight. Maya's heart raced with a mixture of fear and excitement. She was in uncharted territory now, further than any human had dared to go since the attack. A sudden movement caught her eye. Maya froze, her breath catching in her throat. There, partially hidden behind a towering crystal formation, stood a figure unlike any she had seen before. Tall and lithe, with iridescent skin that seemed to shimmer in the starlight, the creature regarded Maya with a mixture of curiosity and wariness. Maya's first instinct was to run, but something held her in place. The alien's eyes, large and luminous, held not malice but a profound sadness that stirred something deep within her. Hello," Maya stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm Maya. I'm not here to hurt you." The alien tilted its head, seemingly processing Maya's words. Then, to her astonishment, it spoke. Its voice was melodic, with an otherworldly quality that sent shivers down Maya's spine. "I am Zara," the alien said, each word carefully formed. "Why have you come, small one? Do you not fear the Vesperi?" Maya swallowed hard, gathering her courage. I wanted to understand. Why are you attacking us? We came here to build a new home, not to fight." Zara's expression softened, a flicker of surprise crossing her features. "Attack? We do not attack. We survive. Your people." She paused, searching for the right words. "Your people take. Take food, take water. We starve." The realization hit Maya like a punch to the gut. All this time, they had seen the Vesperi as mindless aggressors, but the truth was far more complex. These weren't monsters, they were a desperate people fighting for survival. "But we can help each other," Maya blurted out, her mind racing. "We have technology, ways to grow food even in this harsh environment. If we work together." A distant sound cut her off, voices calling her name. The colony had discovered her absence. Zara tensed, ready to flee. "You must go, small one. It is not safe." "Wait," Maya cried, reaching into her pocket. She pulled out an emergency ration bar, not much, but a gesture of goodwill. "Take this. And please, come to our settlement tomorrow at first light. I'll convince them to listen. We can find a way to coexist." Hesitantly, Zora took the offering, her long fingers brushing against Maya's hand. A moment of understanding passed between them, two beings from different worlds, united by a shared hope for peace. As Maya turned to run back to the colony, she glanced over her shoulder one last time. Zora stood motionless, the ration bar clutched to her chest, watching as the young human disappeared into the night. Maya's heart pounded as she raced across the alien terrain. She knew that tomorrow would bring challenges she couldn't yet imagine. But for the first time since landing on this harsh world, she felt a glimmer of hope. Perhaps with a child's courage and an alien's trust, they could forge a new future on Nexus 7, one of cooperation instead of conflict. The colony's searchlights pierced the darkness, and Maya steeled herself for the stern lecture that awaited her. But as she ran towards the familiar silhouette of her father, she knew that the secret she carried could change everything. The fate of two species now rested in her small, determined hands. The following dawn broke over Nexus 7 with an eerie violet hue. Maya stood at the edge of the settlement, her eyes fixed on the horizon. Her father, Commander Reeves, paced anxiously behind her, his face a mask of worry and frustration. "I still can't believe you snuck out, Maya," he said, running a hand through his graying hair. "Do you have any idea how dangerous that was?" Maya turned to face him, her expression resolute. "Dad, please, you have to trust me. This is important." Before Commander Reeves could respond, a figure appeared in the distance, shimmering like a mirage in the early morning light. Zora had come. The reaction from the colony was immediate. Alarms blared, and armed guards rushed to form a protective line. Maya's heart raced as she saw the fear and hostility on their faces. "Wait," she cried, stepping between the guards and the approaching Vesperi. "She's not here to hurt us. Please just listen." Commander Reeves moved to pull his daughter back, but something in Maya's determined stance made him hesitate. He raised a hand, signaling the guards to hold their fire. Zora approached cautiously, her luminous eyes darting from Maya to the armed humans. When she spoke, her melodic voice carried across the tense silence. "I come in peace, as the small one requested. We seek understanding, not conflict." The next few hours were a whirlwind of tense negotiations and cautious exchanges. Maya acted as a bridge between the two species, her youthful optimism helping to smooth over moments of misunderstanding and suspicion. As the sun reached its zenith, a tentative agreement was reached. The Vesperi would share their knowledge of Nexus 7's ecosystem, while the humans would offer technology and resources to help with food production. "It's a start," Commander Reeves said, a note of cautious hope in his voice. "But there's still a lot of work to be done." Maya beamed, her eyes shining with pride. "We can do it, Dad. I know we can." Over the following weeks, the unlikely alliance began to take shape. Human scientists worked alongside Vesperi elders, combining Earth technology with alien wisdom to create sustainable farming methods suited to Nexus 7's harsh environment. Maya found herself at the center of it all, her natural curiosity and open-mindedness making her an ideal intermediary. She spent her days learning the intricacies of Vesperi culture from Zora, soaking up knowledge about their history, their connection to the planet, and their struggles since the humans' arrival. One evening, as they sat watching the twin moons rise over the crystalline plains, Zora turned to Maya with a sullen expression. "There is something you must know, small one. The reason we were so desperate, so fearful of your people." Maya listened intently as Zora recounted a tale of another alien race that had visited Nexus 7 long ago. These beings, known as the Carthon, had initially appeared friendly, offering advanced technology and promises of peace. But their true intentions were far more sinister. "They sought to strip our world of its resources, to enslave our people," Zora explained, her voice tinged with ancient sorrow. "We fought them off, but at a terrible cost. When your people arrived with your machines and your terraforming technology, we feared history was repeating itself." Maya's mind reeled at the revelation. But we're not like them, Zara. We don't want to hurt anyone. We just want a home. Zara nodded, a small smile playing at the corners of her mouth. We see that now, thanks to you, Maya. You have shown us that not all outsiders bring destruction. There is hope in understanding. As they continued to work together, both species began to flourish. The humans' technology, combined with Vesperi wisdom, allowed them to cultivate crops that thrived in Nexus 7's unique environment. The once barren plains around the settlement began to bloom with alien flora, a testament to what could be achieved through cooperation. But even as progress was made, challenges remained. Some humans, scarred by past conflicts, remained distrustful of the Vesperi. Likewise, there were Vesperi who saw the alliance as a betrayal of their traditions. Maya found herself navigating increasingly complex social and political waters. She mediated disputes, encouraged cultural exchanges, and tirelessly promoted the benefits of their newfound partnership. One day, as she helped tend to a newly planted field alongside human and Vesperi workers, Maya overheard a heated argument. A group of human colonists were confronting a Vesperi elder, their voices raised in anger. How do we know this isn't some trick? One of the humans demanded. How can we trust them after everything that's happened? Maya's heart sank. Despite all their progress, old fears and prejudices still lingered. She was about to intervene when Zara stepped forward, her tall form radiating calm authority. Trust is not given freely, Zara said, her voice carrying across the field. It is built day by day, through actions and understanding. We have all suffered, all lost. But now we have a chance to create something new, something better. Will you let fear rob us of that chance? A hush fell over the gathering. Maya watched, her breath held, as the tension slowly began to dissipate. The human who had spoken looked down, a mix of shame and realization crossing his face. I'm sorry, he muttered. It's just been so hard for so long. But you're right. We have to move forward. As the group dispersed, returning to their work with renewed purpose, Maya felt a surge of pride and hope. It wouldn't be easy, and there would undoubtedly be more challenges ahead. But they were making progress, one small step at a time. That night, as she lay in her bunk looking up at the alien stars through the dome's transparent ceiling, Maya reflected on how far they'd come. From enemies to cautious allies, and now perhaps to true partners in building a shared future. She knew that their journey was far from over. But as she drifted off to sleep, Maya felt a deep sense of certainty. Together, humans and Vesperi could face whatever challenges Nexus 7 might throw at them. And in doing so, they might just create something truly extraordinary. As the cycles of Nexus 7 passed, the alliance between humans and Vesperi grew stronger. The once barren landscape around the settlement had transformed into a patchwork of alien crops and earth plants, a living symbol of their cooperation. Maya, now 13, had become an integral part of this new society, her natural diplomacy and boundless curiosity bridging gaps between the two species. However, peace is often fragile, especially on a frontier world. The first sign of trouble came on an otherwise unremarkable day. Maya was helping Zara catalog native plant species when a distant rumble shook the ground. At first, they dismissed it as one of Nexus 7's frequent seismic events, but as the tremors intensified, a sense of unease settled over the colony. Commander Rees called an emergency meeting, his face grim as he addressed the gathered humans and Vesperi. Our long-range sensors have picked up something concerning, he began, activating a holographic display. The image showed a massive object approaching Nexus 7, its form unmistakably artificial. Zara gasped, her iridescent skin paling. It cannot be, she whispered, her voice trembling. The Carthon, they have returned. A ripple of fear passed through the assembly. Maya felt a chill run down her spine as she remembered Zara's stories of the ruthless alien race that had once nearly destroyed the Vesperi. We need to prepare, Commander Reeves said, his voice steady despite the tension in the air. If these Carthon are as dangerous as the Vesperi say, we can't afford to be caught off guard. The next few days were a flurry of activity. Humans and Vesperi worked side by side, fortifying the settlement and preparing for a potential conflict. The fields they had so carefully cultivated were partially cleared to make room for defensive structures. It pained Maya to see their hard work undone, but she understood the necessity. As the Carthon ship drew closer, tensions within the colony rose. Old fears and suspicions began to resurface. Some humans whispered that the Vesperi had somehow summoned their old enemies, while a few Vesperi wondered if the humans might ally themselves with the newcomers. Maya found herself once again in the role of peacekeeper, tirelessly working to maintain the fragile trust they had built. "We're stronger together," she reminded everyone who would listen. "We faced challenges before, and we've overcome them. We can do it again." One evening, as the alien sun set in a blaze of purple and red, Maya found Zara standing alone at the edge of the settlement, her gaze fixed on the sky where the Carthon ship would soon be visible. "Are you okay?" Maya asked, moving to stand beside her friend. Zara was silent for a long moment before responding. "I fear for our future, small one," she said softly. "The Carthon are relentless. They will not stop until they have taken everything." Maya reached out, taking Zara's hand in her own. The gesture, once so alien, now felt natural. "We won't let that happen," she said with fierce determination. "Humans have a saying, united we stand, divided we fall. We're not alone this time. We have each other." Zara looked down at Maya, a small smile breaking through her worry. "Your kind never ceases to amaze me, Maya. Such hope in the face of impossible odds." As they stood there, a brilliant flash lit up the sky. The Carthon ship had entered Nexus 7's atmosphere, its massive form now visible to the naked eye. Alarms blared throughout the settlement, and Maya could hear her father shouting orders. "It's time," Zara said, straightening to her full height. "Whatever comes, we face it together." Maya nodded, her heart pounding but her resolve unshaken. As they hurried back to the center of the colony, she saw humans and Vesperi moving with shared purpose, their differences forgotten in the face of a common threat. Commander Reeves was at the command center, coordinating their defenses. He spared a moment to pull Maya into a quick hug. "Stay safe," he whispered before turning back to his duties. The ground shook as the Carthon ship touched down several kilometers from the settlement. Through the viewport, Maya could see its sleek, predatory form, so different from the organic shapes favored by the Vesperi or the utilitarian designs of human craft. A tense silence fell over the colony as they waited for the Carthon's next move. Minutes stretched into hours, the anticipation almost unbearable. Finally, a transmission crackled through their communication systems. A harsh, guttural voice filled the air, speaking in a language Maya didn't understand. But from the way the Vesperi recoiled, she knew it couldn't be good. Zara's voice shook as she translated. They demand our immediate surrender. All resources are to be relinquished. Those who resist will be eliminated." Commander Ree's jaw tightened. "Well, that's not happening," he said firmly. "We've worked too hard, come too far. This is our home now, all of us, and we'll defend it together." A cheer went up from both humans and Vesperi, their voices united in defiance. Maya felt a swell of pride and determination. Whatever the Carthon threw at them, they would face it as one. As the colony prepared for the inevitable confrontation, Maya found herself at the heart of their preparations. Her unique position as a bridge between humans and Vesperi made her invaluable in coordinating their joint efforts. The Carthon's ultimatum hung over them like a storm cloud, but instead of cowering, the inhabitants of Nexus 7 stood tall. Humans shared their advanced weaponry and tactical knowledge, while the Vesperi offered their deep understanding of the planet's terrain and natural defenses. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, Maya stood with her father and Zara, looking out at the assembled forces of their unlikely alliance. Human Marines stood shoulder to shoulder with Vesperi warriors, their differences forgotten in the face of a common enemy. "Whatever happens," Maya said, her voice steady despite the fear fluttering in her chest, "we're in this together." Commander Rees nodded, placing a hand on his daughter's shoulder. "Together," he echoed, his eyes reflecting a mixture of pride and concern. Zora's luminous gaze swept over the gathered defenders. "For Nexus 7, she said solemnly, "for our shared home." As if in response to their words, a distant rumble signaled the approach of the Carthon forces. The battle for Nexus 7 was about to begin, and with it, the true test of the bond between humans and Vesperi. Maya took a deep breath, steeling herself for what was to come. She knew that the next few hours would determine not just their fate, but the future of two species and the world they now called home. Whatever the outcome, they would face it united, their strength found in the unlikely friendship forged between a human girl and an alien race. The Carthon attack came with a ferocity that caught even the most prepared defenders off guard. Their ships descended from the sky like angry hornets, raining down energy blasts that scorched the earth and shook the very foundations of the colony. Maya found herself in the thick of the action, running messages between command posts and helping coordinate the joint human-Vesperi defense. The sound of weapons fire filled the air, a cacophony of human projectiles and Vesperi energy weapons. Commander Ree's voice crackled over the comm system. "All units, hold your positions. We can't let them breach the perimeter." From her vantage point, Maya could see the battle unfolding. Human Marines, clad in their powered armor, fought side by side with the more agile Vesperi warriors. The aliens' natural camouflage abilities allow them to blend seamlessly with the terrain, popping up to ambush the advancing Carthon troops before melting back into the landscape. Despite their valiant efforts, the sheer numbers and advanced technology of the Carthon were pushing them back. Maya's heart raced as she saw a group of defenders overwhelmed, forced to retreat from their position. "We need reinforcements at the eastern flank," she shouted into her comm device, relaying the urgent message to her father. As she turned to run back to the command center, a stray energy blast struck nearby, sending her tumbling to the ground. For a moment, the world spun around her, the sounds of battle muffled by the ringing in her ears. A strong hand gripped her arm, pulling her to her feet. It was Zara, her iridescent skin smeared with dirt and what looked like blood, or whatever passed for blood among the Vesperi. "Are you all right, small one?" Zara asked, her eyes scanning Maya for injuries. Maya nodded, shaking off her dizziness. "I'm fine, but we're losing ground. There's got to be something else we can do." Zara's expression turned thoughtful. "Perhaps there might be a way, but it is dangerous, and we would need to act quickly." Before Maya could ask for details, another explosion rocked the ground beneath them. Zara pulled her behind a fallen piece of machinery for cover. "The Carthon's power comes from their ships," Zara explained hurriedly. "If we could disable their main vessel, it might give us the advantage we need." Maya's eyes widened as she grasped the implications. But how? Their defenses are too strong for a frontal assault. A ghost of a smile played across Zara's alien features. "That is where your human ingenuity and our Vesperi knowledge of this world might prove useful." Together, they raced back to the command center, dodging energy blasts and leaping over debris. Inside, they found Commander Rees hunched over a holographic display of the battlefield, his face etched with worry. "Dad," Maya called out, breathless from their run. "We have an idea." As they quickly outlined their plan, Commander Rees' expression shifted from skepticism to cautious hope. It was risky, bordering on insane, but in the face of certain defeat, it might be their only chance. "All right," he said finally, straightening up. "Let's do it. But Maya, you're staying here where it's safe." Maya opened her mouth to protest, but Zara placed a calming hand on her shoulder. "Your father is right, small one. This mission requires stealth and knowledge of Vesperi ways. I will go." Tears welled up in Maya's eyes as she realized the danger her friend was volunteering for. "But Zara?" The alien bent down, meeting Maya's gaze. You have taught us the value of hope, Maya. Now let me show you the courage it inspires. With a final nod to Commander Reeves, Zara slipped out of the command center. Maya watched her go, her heart heavy with worry, but also swelling with pride. The next hour was the longest of Maya's life. She helped where she could, relaying orders and assisting with the coordination of their dwindling forces. All the while, her thoughts were with Zara, imagining her friend sneaking through the war-torn landscape towards the looming Carthon mothership. Suddenly, a brilliant flash lit up the sky, followed by a thunderous boom that shook the entire colony. Maya rushed to the nearest viewport, her breath catching in her throat at the sight before her. The Carthon mothership was listing to one side, smoke billowing from a massive breach in its hull. As she watched, secondary explosions rippled across its surface, each one eliciting cheers from the human and Vesperi defenders. She did it, Maya whispered, a mixture of awe and relief washing over her. Zara actually did it. The tide of battle shifted dramatically after that. Without support from their main vessel, the Carthon ground forces fell into disarray. The defenders pressed their advantage, pushing the invaders back with renewed vigor. As the last of the Carthon either surrendered or retreated to their damaged ships, a sense of disbelief settled over the colony. They had done it. Against all odds, their unlikely alliance had prevailed. Maya raced out onto the battlefield, her eyes scanning desperately for any sign of Zara. She found her father first, his armor scorched and dented, but a triumphant smile on his face. "Dad," she cried, throwing herself into his arms. "We won. But Zara, have you seen her?" Commander Reeves' smile faltered slightly. "Not yet, sweetheart, but we've got search teams out looking for her now. If she's out there, we'll find her." As the dust settled and the full extent of their victory became clear, Maya refused to give up hope. Zara had shown her the power of unity and courage in the face of impossible odds. Now, it was her turn to demonstrate the human capacity for unwavering faith and determination. The search for Zara continued as the twin suns of Nexus 7 began to set, casting long shadows across the battle-scarred landscape. Maya knew that whatever the outcome, their world would never be the same. The bonds forged in the heat of battle between humans and Vesperi had been tempered into something unbreakable. As she stood at the edge of the colony, her eyes fixed on the horizon, Maya silently vowed to honor Zara's sacrifice by continuing to build bridges between their two species. The battle might be over, but their journey together was only just beginning. The days following the battle were a blur of activity. As the colony worked to rebuild and recover, search parties combed the surrounding areas for any sign of Zara. Maya refused to give up hope, joining every search she could, her eyes constantly scanning the horizon for a glimpse of her friend's iridescent form. It was on the 5th day after the battle that a breakthrough came. A joint human-Vesperi patrol returned with news that sent ripples of excitement through the colony. They had found a series of strange markings etched into the crystalline formations at the edge of the Forbidden Forest, markings that the Vesperi recognized as an ancient form of their written language. Maya's heart raced as she stood with her father and the colony's leaders, listening to the patrol's report. "It's a message," one of the Vesperi elders explained, his voice tinged with awe. "It speaks of a hidden place, a sanctuary known only to the most revered of our ancestors." Commander Reeves frowned, his brow furrowed in concentration. Could Zara have gone there? But why wouldn't she just come back to the colony? The elder's luminous eyes flickered with uncertainty. The sanctuary is said to hold great power, but also great danger. If Zara sought refuge there, she may be unable to leave without assistance. Maya stepped forward, her voice steady despite the worry gnawing at her insides. "Then we have to go find her. We owe her that much. She saved all of us." Her father looked at her with a mixture of pride and concern. "It could be dangerous, Maya. We don't know what's out there." "Which is exactly why I need to go," Maya insisted. "I understand the Vesperi better than anyone, and Zara's my friend. I can't abandon her." After much debate, a small expedition was organized. Maya, along with her father, 2 human scientists, and 3 Vesperi warriors, set out into the uncharted regions of Nexus 7. The journey was grueling, taking them through treacherous terrain that seemed to shift and change before their very eyes. As they ventured deeper into the unknown, Maya noticed strange phenomena that defied explanation. Gravity seemed to fluctuate randomly, and at times, the very fabric of reality appeared to warp around them. The Vesperi warriors grew increasingly agitated, whispering among themselves about ancient legends and forbidden knowledge. On the 3rd day of their expedition, they crested a hill and found themselves looking down into a valley unlike anything they had ever seen. Massive structures of living crystal pulsed with an inner light, forming intricate patterns that seemed to move and shift as they watched. The sanctuary, one of the Vesperi warriors, breathed, his voice filled with reverence and fear. As they cautiously made their way down into the valley, Maya felt a strange resonance in the air, as if the very atmosphere was alive with energy. The crystals seemed to sing, emitting a haunting melody that tugged at the edges of her consciousness. Suddenly, a familiar voice echoed through the air. "Maya? Commander Rees, is that really you?" Zora stepped out from behind one of the crystal structures, her form shimmering with an otherworldly glow. Maya's heart leaped with joy, and she rushed forward to embrace her friend. But as she drew closer, she realized something was different about Zara. The alien's eyes held a depth of knowledge that seemed both ancient and new. "Zara, what happened to you? Why didn't you come back?" Maya asked, her voice trembling with a mixture of relief and confusion. Zara smiled, a gesture that seemed to illuminate the entire valley. "Oh, Maya, I've learned so much. This place, it's not just a sanctuary. It's a nexus of knowledge, a repository of secrets left behind by beings far more advanced than either of our species." Commander Rees stepped forward, his expression cautious. "What kind of secrets?" "The kind that could change everything," Zara replied, her voice resonating with newfound power. "I've seen the true history of Nexus 7, of the Vesperi, and even of humanity. We are all connected in ways we never imagined." As Zara began to explain, Maya felt her understanding of the universe expanding. The sanctuary, it turned out, was an ancient library of sorts, created by a long-vanished race that had seeded life throughout the galaxy. The Vesperi were one of their earliest creations, while humans were among the last, both species carrying within them the potential for incredible growth and change. "But why didn't you tell us this before?" Maya asked, struggling to process the immense implications of what she was hearing. Zara's expression turned sullen. "The knowledge here is vast and overwhelming. I needed time to understand it, to learn how to use it safely. And now I believe I know how we can truly defeat the Carthon, not just here, but everywhere." As Zara outlined her plan, Maya felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. The power they now had access to was beyond anything she had ever imagined. With it, they could reshape their world, push back the Carthon, and perhaps even reach out to other planets, other species who might be facing similar challenges. But with such power came great responsibility. Maya looked at her father, seeing the weight of command heavy on his shoulders. She knew that the decisions they made here, in this hidden valley on a distant world, would have consequences that would ripple across the galaxy. As the twin suns of Nexus 7 began to set, painting the crystal structures in hues of gold and purple, Maya realized that their adventure was far from over. In fact, it was only just beginning. The unlikely alliance between humans and Vesperi had not only saved their colony, but had also unlocked secrets that would change the course of both their species forever. With Zara by her side and her father standing tall and proud, Maya faced the future with a mixture of excitement and determination. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she knew that together, they had the strength, the wisdom, and now the knowledge to face them head-on. The sanctuary pulsed with ancient power, a testament to the incredible journey that had brought them to this moment. As night fell on Nexus 7, Maya knew that a new dawn was about to break, not just for their small colony, but for all of humanity and the Vesperi. The universe, it seemed, was full of wonders yet to be discovered, and they were just getting started. The return journey to the colony was filled with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Maya, her father, and Zara led the expedition, their minds reeling from the revelations of the sanctuary. The knowledge they carried had the potential to reshape not just their colony, but the entire galaxy. As they approached the outskirts of the settlement, they were met with cheers and cries of joy. News of Zara's rescue had spread quickly, and both humans and Vesperi had gathered to welcome them home. Maya felt a surge of pride as she watched the two species standing side by side, united in their relief and happiness. In the days that followed, a council was convened to discuss the implications of what they had discovered. Representatives from both species sat together in the colony's main hall, their faces a mixture of awe and concern as Zara shared what she had learned. "The power within the sanctuary is beyond anything we could have imagined," Zara explained, her voice resonating with newfound authority. "With it, we can not only defend ourselves against the Carthon, but also reach out to other worlds, other species who may be facing similar threats." Commander Rees leaned forward, his brow furrowed in thought. "But with such power comes great responsibility. How can we be sure we won't become like the Carthon ourselves, imposing our will on others?" Maya, sitting between her father and Zara, spoke up. "That's why we need both of our species working together," she said, her young voice filled with conviction. "The wisdom of the Vesperi combined with human ingenuity and compassion. Together, we can be a force for good in the galaxy." A murmur of agreement rippled through the assembly. Over the next few weeks, plans were drawn up and preparations made. Using the knowledge from the sanctuary, they began to develop new technologies that merged human and Vesperi sciences in ways never before imagined. The first test of their new capabilities came sooner than expected. Long-range sensors detected another Carthon fleet approaching Nexus 7, larger than the first. But this time, they were ready. As the Carthon ships entered the system, they were met not with fear, but with a united front of human and Vesperi defenders. Maya watched from the colony's command center as Zara activated the planetary defense system they had constructed, a network of crystalline towers that channeled the power of Nexus 7 itself. A brilliant beam of energy lanced out from the planet's surface, enveloping the Carthon fleet. For a moment, everything seemed to hang in perfect stillness. Then, to everyone's amazement, the Carthon ships simply vanished. "What happened?" Maya asked, her eyes wide with wonder. "Did we destroy them?" Zara shook her head, a small smile playing on her alien features. "No, little one. We sent them home, all the way across the galaxy. And with them, we sent a message. Nexus 7 and its people are under our protection." In the months that followed, word of their victory spread. Other colonies, both human and alien, reached out for help and guidance. Maya found herself at the center of a burgeoning interstellar diplomatic corps, her unique ability to bridge cultures making her an invaluable asset. As their influence grew, so did their responsibility. Maya, now 15, often found herself grappling with complex ethical dilemmas. How much should they intervene in the affairs of other worlds? How could they share their knowledge without overwhelming less advanced species? "It's not easy, is it?" her father said one evening, finding her lost in thought as she looked out over the now thriving colony. Maya shook her head. "No, it's not. But I think that's the point. The sanctuary didn't give us all the answers. It gave us the tools to find them ourselves." Commander Reed smiled, putting an arm around his daughter's shoulders. "You've grown so much, Maya. Not just in height," he added with a chuckle. As they stood there, watching the twin suns set over their adopted home, Maya reflected on the incredible journey that had brought them to this point. From fearful colonists struggling to survive, they had become part of something greater, guardians of a legacy that stretched back millions of years. The next day, as Maya prepared for a diplomatic mission to a newly contacted world, she paused to look at a holo image on her desk. It showed her Zara, and her father standing together, smiling in front of the sanctuary's crystal structures. Next to it was a small, twisted piece of metal, a fragment from the first Carthon ship they had defeated. These mementos served as reminders of where they had come from and what they had accomplished. But more importantly, they pointed toward a future filled with endless possibilities. As she stepped out into the bright light of Nexus 7's morning, Maya took a deep breath, feeling the energy of the planet thrumming beneath her feet. She knew that challenges lay ahead, new threats, difficult decisions, and the ever-present risk of losing their way. But she also knew that they wouldn't face these challenges alone. Humans and Vesperi, two species from opposite ends of the galaxy, had found in each other not just allies, but family. Whatever the universe had in store for them, Maya was certain of one thing: together, they were ready to face it. The adventure that had begun with a curious girl sneaking out of her colony had become a saga that would echo across the stars for generations to come. As she boarded the ship that would take her to new worlds and new adventures, Maya smiled. The future was unwritten, full of mysteries waiting to be unraveled and wonders yet to be discovered, and she couldn't wait to see what came next.